Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're excited to be here today to talk about maximizing your Chicago experience for the upcoming annual conference that's going to take place here in Chicago. During this session, you will learn about the conference marketplace, the mobile app, and learning opportunities available to you. And you'll also learn from 4 seasoned professionals how they approach the conference to enhance their learning experience, network, and come home with actionable items to apply in their respective cities. So I'd like to take this opportunity and introduce you to, we have Nicole Thompson, the President and CEO of Downtown Durham, Inc., and also the Chair of the IDA Education Committee. How are you today, Nicole?
I'm doing great, thanks. Hope you are as well.
Good, glad to have you here. We also have Nolan Marshall, who's the Executive Director of the South Park Bid in Los Angeles, California. How are you doing, Nolan?
I'm doing great, Carolyn. Happy to be here. Look forward to seeing everybody soon.
All right, great. And next, we have our host of the conference, Michael Edwards, President and CEO of the Chicago Loop Alliance. How are you, Michael?
Afternoon. Great, doing great. I just wanted to welcome everybody to Chicago in a few weeks. It's going to be great having you here. And I would just ask everybody to be kind of careful about COVID. We really want you to come here, so please wear a mask for the next 3 weeks so that you're in shape to get to Chicago.
Very good. Thank you, Michael. And next, we have Kate Fensky, the CEO of the Downtown Winnipeg Biz.
Good afternoon. I'm really excited to see everyone in person in Chicago. I'm coming to you from Winnipeg, the middle of Canada, and fortunately it's still summer here.
Excellent, excellent. Well, and I'm here calling in from Chicago as well, and it's bright and sunny, and we hope in the next few weeks it's going to remain this way for while you're all here in Chicago. So thanks for all being here. Now I'm just going to go through a few different details about the conference just to make everybody aware. And, you know, this year we're doing something a little different where we're starting on Tuesday, October 3rd. Registration will open at 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Palmer House at 17 East Monroe Street. There are optional pre-conference day trips and golf on those days. So if you have not registered and you'd like to look, you can always go to the IDA website. We've also been working with the Chicago Loop Alliance, and they have made arrangements for tickets to Hamilton with a special guest meeting after the play with one of the actors, I believe. So there are tickets still available, so please make sure to check out the IDA website and purchase your Hamilton tickets, your golf tickets, or pre-conference day trips. One of the highlights of the annual conference that everyone always talks about is IDA's version of TED Talks, and we offer what we call Master Talks, which are anywhere from 10 to 12 to 15 minutes in length and featuring thought leaders from the industry. This year we've got quite an array of speakers. Each of their bios are located on the IDA website, but you know, we're really excited to have local artist Dwight White, local developer Leon Walker. We have Lori Healy, who's with the Obama Foundation, and just quite a lineup of speakers. So you'll be excited to participate and hear all our different master talks each day. All right, let's see. Going on to the next slide. So on Wednesday, October 4th, we have pre-conference tours and we have pre-conference workshops. And the way we design the program is so that you as the attendee have the opportunity to book the most education content that you want within each day. And so you'll notice that the pre-conference tours and the pre-conference workshops are aligned so that you have an hour break in between. So if you wanted to do a pre-conference tour in the morning and a pre-conference workshop in the afternoon, you're able to do that and still able to grab a bite to eat during lunchtime. Then we have our opening general session where people will start meeting, and to go into the plenary session where we'll have opening remarks and our master talks. And following that will be a welcome reception for first-time attendees. And if you have not signed up for the reception for first-time attendees, I recommend that you do so by emailing registration@downtown.org so that you can get your name on the list. And this is for first-time attendees. We do have to limit to that. So the opening reception will be taking place at this beautiful building that you see here at the Merchandise Mart, which there's a space on the second floor called Marshall's Landing, which has a beautiful outdoor view overlooking the river right here in downtown Chicago. Then on Thursday, October 5th, you'll see in the schedule again on the website that there's a mix of mobile tours, breakout sessions, facilitative forums, service advisories, a general session with master talks, and we have a cocktail hour in the marketplace where you can visit with the vendors and your peers. And then Thursday night is really your free night to go out and have dinner, explore the city, and get to know Chicago. And then on Friday, again, if you're attending the whole conference or just one day, there are the registration opens at 7:30 a.m. And again, the day is filled with mobile tours, breakout sessions, facilitative forums, service advisory, the general session with master talks, and our closing reception will take place at the Museum of Contemporary Art. And I will say for the opening reception and closing reception, we will be running some shuttles that are available to those who really aren't able to, make a trek of a walk. It may be a little bit of a mile, under a mile to get to some of these receptions, but it's a very, very walkable city.
Very.
Very. So the conference layout. So we're at the Palmer House in downtown Chicago, a historic hotel, one of my favorites, and we are going to be on 3 floors. So on the 3rd floor and the 5th floor is where you're going to be going to breakout sessions. And then on the 4th floor is where the general sessions will take place in the grand ballroom, the Grand State Ballroom. And there's also on that floor, on the 4th floor is where the marketplace is to visit with our vendors, our sponsors, and it's also where lunch and refreshments will be served. So just remember that, and it's easily accessible with the escalators, and there are some short stairways in between. So the marketplace is really an important component of the conference. This is where you have the opportunity to meet with vendors, learn about different types of products. You'll also see that in the marketplace each day, there's coffee service, again, lunch and visit with the exhibitors each day, and there's networking breaks. Something new we're doing this year, IDA will have booth number 216, and at each of the different breaks, there will be opportunities to learn about all these different programs, and we'll have representatives there to talk with you. So, on Thursday from 11:30 to 1, you can come and learn about the 2023 staffing and salary survey. And, from 1:45 to 2:15, you can come and learn about the Emerging Leader Fellowship Program. 3:15 to 3:45, if you're interested in joining IDA committee, we'll have representatives there from each of the committees. And just overall to talk about membership during the cocktail reception. On Friday, you can learn about top issues councils, and also we'll be announcing our 2024 dates, and we'll have representatives from each of the respective cities at the booth so you can come and learn about their cities. So the magic behind how the conference gets put together. So this icon here that you see with Urban Place Management, this is how we organize all the content for the conference. And this has been worked on over the course of several years, where the Education and Professional Development Committee developed the 7 domains of professional practice. And they include leadership development, economic development, organization management, marketing, communications, events, planning, design, and infrastructure, public space management and operations, and policy and advocacy. And so if you're looking to learn more about all the domains of professional practice, you will notice in the Knowledge Center on the IDA website that all our content is managed and maintained within that Knowledge Center. So you can go in and click on leadership development, and it'll tell you all the resources that are available as a member of IDA that you can access under each of these 7 domains. So now about the conference. So if you're an economic development professional and you're looking to come to the conference and learn all things economic development, I've listed here for you all the sessions that are related to economic development. And we will be emailing out this PowerPoint presentation, and you can print this sheet and say, okay, these are the sessions I'd like to attend for economic development. Or if you're in a planner through the American Planning Association, these are all the sessions related to planning, design, and infrastructure. So again, I've tried to make it easy for you to access those sessions and start mapping out your course of action by attending the conference. Now, under public space management and operations, that really has to do a lot with our clean and safe teams, working with ambassadors, understanding, working with the homeless, and placemaking is a big part of public space management and operations. So you will see all the sessions related to public space management and operations. And I also, like to say, moving on to the next one with marketing, communications, and events, that there is overlap sometimes between public space management and operations and some of the sessions. And so I've listed sessions here that are related to marketing, communications, and different events and placemaking. And again, trying to make this easy for you, because I know it can be overwhelming to look at the conference schedule and say, where do I begin? And again, if you are a CEO or an executive director, here are sessions related to organization management. And if you're looking to develop your leadership skills, there's leadership development sessions. There's going to be a special session during lunchtime on Friday to learn about the Leadership and Place Management Certification Program. And then policy and advocacy sessions you'll see listed below here. And one word of advice that I would give people is, if you're aspiring to be an executive director or a CEO, but right now you're a marketing professional or an economic development professional, maybe, stretch your wings a little bit and go to some of these other sessions so you can start to understand other areas of the work if you're aspiring to move up and run your own organization someday. Now, the other part of this that I like to talk about is we're very grateful for our sponsors of the IDA, and they have the opportunity to provide either a lunch and learn or a service advisory. These sessions are labeled as service advisories, as these are sponsors that are looking to teach you about their product or services. And so you will see an array here of the different service advisories. This has been very successful. We've gotten very good feedback in survey results that people really like the opportunity to learn about these different services and from these different vendors of things that they offer. So there's a mobile app. Yes, we have a mobile app for the conference. We're very excited. There's all kinds of features on this mobile app, and it'll launch the week before the conference. It'll be sent to all the registered attendees. So, and there won't be a printed program. We're really trying to go green. And so using the mobile app is the best way to navigate the content. There's virtual networking features. You can schedule your sessions. The whole conference program is in there. All the surveys are in there. There's going to be a gamification component. And there's a listing of all the sponsors and the exhibitors so that you can set up meetings with them. And there's profiles about each of the speakers. So we definitely, when you get that email on how to download the mobile app, do that right away. So while you're traveling to the conference, you can start planning everything out. At each session, you're going to see a slide like this that says, please take the session survey. This feature is so important to us because the education committee, myself, we're looking to learn from your feedback. You know, was this session educational for you? There's going to be 2 questions. They're going to be very easy. And it basically asks you, what benefits did you get, if any, from this session, and select all that are true for you. But don't just mark all of them were true if they're not. So please take this seriously. And there's going to be an area with additional feedback. If there's something you want to share that you learned from the session specifically, or something that wasn't quite right, whatever it may be, we want you to add that to the session surveys. Now, by attending the conference, if you are a certified leader in place management, you can earn credits for attending this conference. And there is a form on the IDA website that you go in and you fill that out and you submit that like you do your other credit hours. We are also a provider of the American Planning Association AICP credits. And so you will see those sessions noted in the session descriptions for continuing education credits for AICP. So, and if you are an AICP certified planner, I'm sure you know how to go ahead and log your own credits. So now I want to go back to our panelists and have a little conversation. And for any of you listening in today on the webinar, please don't forget to go to the questions pane on your screen, and you can type in any questions. If there's something that I missed, that you have a burning question that you want to know about, please go ahead and let us know. All righty. Let's see, I just want to confirm. Can you see all 5 of our pictures on the screen? Yes, we're good. Okay. Let me.
Carolyn, you're doing great.
Thank you.
You're doing awesome. You're doing awesome.
Trying to figure this out. Why is my. Okay, there we go. All righty. So I've got a few questions here to ask. So I'm going to start with Michael Edwards, and I'm going to kind of go around and ask each of you. How many years have you been attending an IDA conferences, and what was your favorite and why?
Well, I've been attending for over 20 years, 27 years actually. And I think my favorite was in Winnipeg, as we were talking earlier, because they did a great job of entertaining us. There was so much going on in the city, and really made some great friendships.
Excellent, excellent. Others?
I think I've been going to the conference for 10 years in New York, which would have been 11 years ago, I guess. So maybe 11 years. New York was my first one, and it's still my favorite. It really just exposed me to how these different communities can look and feel authentic, no matter where they were. Because as someone from outside of New York, I just had a picture of New York, monolith, it's New York. But being able to be on the ground and see some of these different little neighborhoods and how authentic they were was great.
Excellent.
I'm going to say San Antonio. It was my first. I was supposed to go to Winnipeg, but something happened, and so I didn't go to Winnipeg. So San Antonio was my first. So that's how many years I've been coming. I'm new to the place management industry, but it was my favorite because I was able to take the entire team, the Downtown Durham Incorporated team, and the ability for us to come back together at the end of each day and share what we had learned was exciting to see their energy level, to understand that they weren't operating in a vacuum. It was great for me to finally reach out and be able to talk to other presidents, CEOs, executive directors, and know the crazy that I was dealing with was like, so it was really good for me as well. But I think the connection with the team was really great because a lot of us were very new to the field. And then the little bit, the Austin, there was a little bit of a thing, go to Austin and spend the day in Austin. We did that, came back together. So it was for that reason, really building that team up. And most of those members are still with me. We've grown quite a bit, but that's my favorite probably.
Great.
And for me, I've been going since 2018. It was same thing, first year on the job. So I'm coming up on my 5-year anniversary in this industry, and it was my second week on the job. So I felt so fortunate that Stefano, who had the position before me, actually booked me in because he said, this is the best thing for you to get an understanding of what it is that your job actually is. Yep. And it was San Antonio. So Nicole, that was my first conference too. And for me, what was so cool about it is San Antonio felt in my mind so different from Winnipeg. But when I saw the river system and the surface parking lots, there was so many similar opportunities and challenges in city that I thought was so different from my own. So that just opened up and broke my brain a little bit to see that you can apply so many of the similar things. So, and I have to give a shout out for Vancouver last year, because for me, that was the first conference back in person. And there was just a lot of high fives, and it was so great to see everyone again.
I was hoping Vancouver would at least make somebody's list.
You got it. I got you.
I didn't go to Vancouver. So.
All righty. So what do you find to be the most valuable aspect of the conference?
Networking.
Totally.
I would say the networking, and that's difficult if it's your first. Your tendency would be to kind of hang back, to stand in along the wall, to stand in the corners, to not really approach. I will say that this is an industry where everyone is approachable, no matter what the level is. That's all the way from David Downey, the president, CEO of this organization, to every board member, to every executive director, president, all the way down. Everyone is willing to share, collaborate, take your card, send information to you, tell you the pros and cons. You just have to make the effort. They won't come to you. I mean, right. No one's going to say, hey, it looks like you have a question about something. Let me help you. But all you have to do is just come and join a table at a reception. People make way for you. They ask where you're from, what you're doing. So I would say the networking, and it's just so easy. I've done economic development for most of my career. Very different when you go to an economic development conference. This, you can just come, be yourself. People care. They want to encourage. They want to support. They want to be with you. So networking without a doubt.
Yep. It's like going to a hot bar. Everybody there is there for the same purpose, you know, to kind of hook up and learn some new things. I mean, everybody's there for the same reason, right? They are thinking about the same things that you're thinking about. They're wondering the same things you're wondering about. I mean, all our cities are different, but there are these sort of major themes that we all struggle with. And like, am I doing this right? And then you go to a session and you're like, oh, I am doing this right. Like, I am smarter than maybe I think I am. And they also empower you with lots of great ideas so that you can go back and you can be smarter than your board of directors, which is also very helpful.
And I think too, like, for me, it's really about taking the time and space away from the daily grind. So you get to, in terms of like, whether it's the tours or the sessions, your brain, like, you get to open up your mind and just take that space and time to really think about what it is that we're doing, what it is that you want to do when you go back. and everyone around, like Nicole and Michael said, is there to share ideas. So I have not worked in economic development or this industry. My career, I was in railways before, and it was all about competition. And same with journalism, it was all about competition. And this, I find, anyone is willing to share ideas, and you will meet so many people that are feeling the same way. So it's a little bit of therapy too. I love the late night therapy. So I mean, like, you're going from like 7 a.m. to midnight usually, because I don't want to miss out on any of those side conversations or things that are happening outside of the regular conference stuff. But I do also, I love the tours. I love seeing other cities, and it's just, I'm like taking photos all the time of garbage cans. I have like a long like photo album of garbage cans from other cities. I'm like, well, that's cool. That's an idea. Murals, all those kind of stuff. It's just great to see and get ideas.
And it sort of becomes like a family reunion, right? Just without the t-shirts that everybody has to wear. It becomes a place where you kind of wonder about, maybe for your first time, who are all these people that I've never seen, that I've never met, but they're kind of like me, right? Kind of like at a family reunion if you haven't seen those cousins who live far away. And then the more you get into it, the more there is that sort of empathy and caring that I find is the most that I get from my peers at this conference. It's you can go to other conferences, but at this one you get a real authentic level of understanding and appreciation. I know Kate's dealing with the same things that I'm dealing with, Nicole is, Michael is, and there's just something about being in a room with other people who understand what you spend most of your time on, and they understand it in a way that feels very supportive.
And there is this much, there is, I mean, block by block covers the t-shirt.
Yeah. We could all wear the same t-shirt, but we choose not to.
I think there is one kind of moment of anxiety that everybody should be ready for, and that's following, you're going to come to the newcomers reception, and then it turns into the opening reception, and then everybody starts to think about where they're going to go for dinner. So if you don't have a date, or you want to just ask somebody, can I come with you, right? You want to just kind of get yourself in there. When you sit around the table at dinner, you don't have to say a word. You're just going to absorb what they're saying, and this is how you really meet people. But I would say that's the only time where you can get a little bit lost, because it is a family reunion. People have friends that they dine with. They look forward to it all year. But just kind of be aggressive and get yourself in there.
That's a good point. I see that someone asked in the chat, was your first IDA conference overwhelming?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say also, like, I like a good party. And so I would say, like, it's overwhelming at first because, like, there's so much happening. And for me, I want to do it all. I want to see it all. And so I think when you're trying to figure out where to go and what to do, it's you have to be able to roll with it a little bit. But I also, like, it is so inspiring. It's a great time. My advice, I think that's a question you're asking later, but I'm just going to throw it, like make sure you've got good walking shoes on, because like you're going to be on the move. And so, yeah.
I think if it wasn't overwhelming, where would because it's overwhelming, you want to go back the next year. I mean, every year I go, it's overwhelming. It's not like it ceases to be overwhelming. There are more people to meet. There are more things are constantly changing in our downtown. So there's more to learn from each other. So every year it's overwhelming. But certainly it's a different kind of overwhelming your first time. But it just makes you, because again, everyone is so accepting, it's not overwhelming. And then you kind of have to go and sit by yourself. I mean, you get over it very quickly.
Nolan, why don't you mention what you said about taking an hour for yourself? You were talking about a couple days ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think, so we said before, this is all about networking, and we talk about finding a mentor. I was going to say one of the things that I try to do when I'm in an overwhelming situation is find an anchor, find that one person who was at the newcomers reception with you, find a buddy, find an anchor, and it'll be fine. But also, it's okay to find an hour or so outside of the conference, outside of the scheduled tours, outside of having to hold a conversation, and just be able to hold a moment with yourself in the city that we're in. Go for a walk, explore a neighborhood that isn't on the scheduled tours, perhaps, and just kind of have a chance to be in your own thoughts and reflect on the experience and what you might want to ask at the next session or what you might want to be able to bring home with you. But I always try to find a moment to myself at these just to reflect on the place that I'm in.
Really good point. And so tell me, what do you bring with you to the conference? What tools do you use to help you kind of organize what you're learning?
Well, Kate said bring walking shoes. I try to bring my best kicks because I don't want to stand out in the crowd. I'm going to have good, comfortable shoes on, right? So I'm bringing the best kicks, whatever the best kicks you have in your stash in your closet. Bring those, and Kate has her sneakers. We'll all compare shoes, but just bring an open attitude. We have those wonderful orange notebooks that I'm sure IDA will have lying around. Those are great, but just bring an openness to learn from everyone, and good shoes.
Right, and I think just from a dress perspective, I think it's just dress professional. I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, it's been a little while, but I don't think you need to wear a suit and tie, but you don't really want to be like in shorts and a t-shirt. You just won't feel comfortable. Just like you're going to church, just wear something that's comfortable but professional.
Battery pack for your phone.
Very good.
Taking lots of pictures, or you're taking pictures of the slides that you're seeing, lots of selfies of all the folks that you've just met, all the great things you'll see on the tours. Very quickly you run out of juice, and then you're at the reception at the end and you're like, oh my gosh, I only have 10% juice. So bring a battery pack and charge it. Sometimes I have to charge mine, so I've got the battery pack.
Well, I heard on one of our calls, don't forget to bring your business cards.
Business
you're
cards.
Going to be meeting a lot of people. Also, when you're talking about taking photos on the mobile app, there's a feature where you can upload photos and start conversations. So if you're out on a tour or you're in a session and you like something, post a picture on the mobile app and get other people's conversation going. You'll have fun with that. And the other thing is notebooks are always a hot commodity, and the best advice I always got was walk around the trade show and find a pen, find a notebook, talk to vendors, all of that good stuff. Let's talk about the marketplace. What do you enjoy about the marketplace?
Well, my experience has been that Tracy at IDA does a fabulous job of bringing in the kind of businesses that you're gonna hire eventually. You may not be in the market for a consultant for this or for a clean and safe program for that, but eventually you are. And they bring all these people to you. And so if you leave the convention or the conference without a fistful of business cards and conversations that you've had with these people, you're not really doing yourself a service. And on the other hand, all of those people, just want to do some business. And I would, respectfully ask everyone to take a minute to introduce yourself, welcome them to the conference, get their name, take their card, and tell them to call you after the conference. You don't have to do it right there. Just call me, tell me a little bit more about your product. You don't have to buy it, but if you just give them a phone call, you might be surprised at what they have to say. But it's also really good for the conference so we can get more people in the marketplace next year. And so you as attendees have a role to play in making sure that marketplace is as successful as possible. So hang out there, eat their candy, take their goodies, but also take their cards.
Yeah, I think they've always got some fun stuff, but I think too, like, in my mind, I don't even think of it as a marketplace. I think of it as my problem solving zone. So like I will walk in sometimes and I will go have a conversation with someone. They're telling me about what they do. And I'm like, oh, I have this problem. I didn't even know that there was a solution for it. And so sometimes you're getting ideas in there too. And like I've gone for lunch with those. I've met some great friends in the marketplace too. So if you're looking for someone to go for lunch or dinner or something like that too, just had really interesting conversations. And I think you get a lot of ideas too. Some things like I didn't even know was possible and someone's already thought of it and they're doing it.
All righty.
I would add, because I just have to, Carolyn. So I've been with the IDA for a while. I used to be the guy in charge of sponsors. So we haven't really talked about sponsors, but you'll see you'll see sponsors on everything that IDA presents to you when you're at the conference. And my simple request is, if you see somebody that's with that's associated with a sponsor, just go up and say thank you and give them a hug. Give them the IDA hug and tell them just thank you for being a sponsor, because they're the ones that are making all of this possible. And I just ask you to thank them throughout the conference. It'd be really helpful for Tracy to generate more sponsors in the future and have even better conferences. Had to say it.
I appreciate that you did say it. That was great, Michael, and you were great when you were on the board working with bringing in new sponsors. And actually, when you fill it, there's a final survey that'll get emailed to you on the last day of the conference. When you're on your way home, take the time to fill out that survey. But if there's a vendor that you wished would have been there but wasn't, please put that in the survey so that we can follow up and say, hey, our attendees were asking for this vendor at the conference. So if someone's asking the question of how many vendors will be there, I would say between 30 and 40 is in the marketplace. And again, they're great to talk with. A lot of our vendors have been with IDA for quite a while, so they know the industry, the profession, and you're going to learn so much. And don't forget to take advantage of those service advisories as well, because those are where you'll get a deep dive into what their product offerings is. So I guess we're going to wrap up pretty soon here, but what's one piece of advice that you would give someone who's attending the conference for the first time?
I think I'd reiterate what was shared earlier, is go up and talk to folks. Like, this is the most friendly bunch of people you're going to find anywhere. And it's amazing, like Nolan talked about, that this is a family. It's only been a couple of years since I've been doing this work, and I have made such great friendships. Like, people that I know I can call up outside and after the conference to bounce ideas off of, to chat with. And so I think it's the most friendly bunch of people. When I go up and meet someone, it's like you are immediately finding a connection or a thing. So I think that's just, don't be afraid to say hi and introduce yourself.
Yes, Michael.
You should spend as much money as you can while you're in Chicago. That'd be one thing. And the other thing would be is don't drink too much the first night, because there's a lot of conference after the first night. So you can drink a little bit more on Thursday or Friday.
I agree with both of those. And this might sound contradictory to Michael's last point, but don't be so beholden to your schedule at IDA and to what's officially on the agenda and having to be from one place to the next. If you're in the middle of that really great conversation with someone in the marketplace or with a colleague that you just met, it's okay if you missed that thing that was on your schedule, that other thing, that sitting in the conference room or showing up for a tour. IDA has your money already. You paid for the tour, you're not getting it back. But that conversation that you extend might be incredibly valuable to you.
Right.
And talking to the introverts, because I am actually an introvert. I play an extrovert well, but so Nolan's point about having to take time, I take a lot of time because I do have to recharge in my way. So I'm sure there are a couple of introverts that are on this call. Take that time, but you have got to step out of your comfort zone a little bit. So you have got to take a deep breath and walk up to that table and say, hi, I'm Nicole with Downtown Durham Incorporated. I heard you talking about, or whatever that is. So just every day challenge yourself that you're going to try to talk to one person that you don't know. And to the experts, that's easy. I understand for the introverts, that's a hard thing to do. So determine when the best time to do that, and just challenge and make yourself do that once, and you will find that it gets easier and easier, especially with this group.
Yes, those were all great feedback that you've given and everything. And while you were all talking, a question did pop in that if a pre-conference workshop or a tour is sold out, is there a waiting list in case there are any cancellations? And unfortunately, there's not a waiting list, but the best option is to continue to look on the IDA website at downtown.org/annual, or once you get on site, visit the tour desk, and if there are any cancellations, you'll get to know right there and then. So that is the best advice that I could give. You know, if there's a tour you want to go to, you might want to go hang where the bus is and see if you know, someone didn't show and they want to take some, you know, can take someone else on. So
Carolyn,
It's just kind of stalk, just kind of circle,
Hover around, be weird.
or the room, the door, just kind of hang out there.
I was thinking, am I allowed to share that, or is Carolyn it'll be like, no, that's not how we do it, because I have stalked outside of a bus for a tour I really wanted to get on, and someone couldn't make it, probably because they were stuck in a great conversation that they didn't want to leave somewhere else, and I did get on that tour bus. So yeah.
there
Okay,
you go.
did you set that up? Did you say, talk to that person and make them late? Because I want to take that tour.
That's another strategy.
Well-known strategy there.
So can I offer up the four of you that if anybody on this call sees you at the conference, come up and introduce yourself. That
Absolutely.
includes me too.
Absolutely.
I'll take a picture of you.
Yeah, and Nicole will take your picture.
Take
So
a
yeah,
selfie,
so we're
upload it to IDA, the IDA app.
yes. Well, thank you for participating today to Michael, Nolan, Kate, and Nicole. This has been great, and I appreciate you sharing your experience and your expertise with everyone. And thank you to everybody who participated in today's call or is watching the recording of this. And we look forward to seeing you in Chicago in just a couple weeks.
Just a couple weeks. Oh my God. Can't wait.
All right.
Hey.
All righty. Take care, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.